Poisonrana.
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Go.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for upNXT, postwrestling.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever podcast app you use, and we are live.
We are live on youtube.com/postwrestling. Yes, still getting used to that. We've been saying a certain thing for years and years, and now we're changing. We're on Post. Hello, Post. That's room.
Right. We are. Yeah, we're in the Post Wrestling family now. Since Saturday, we did the Deadline post show, so we were on the Post Wrestling feed. We've invaded the Post Wrestling feed. So hello, all the people that may have liked us, Deadline, and are listening to us again. Hello, anyone who's new, old, from afar, because when it's Tuesday nights, Braden and Davie are here to talk about NXT, and you know why. It's because we're your NXT friends.
Friends,
and we'll always be your NXT friends, no matter what. And tonight ended up being a pretty big night in the world of NXT. So we have lots to talk about. Pop rocks, baby, and new.
Yes, we'll be getting all into that. Roxanne Perez, your new NXT Women's Champion. A long time coming. Very, very excited to talk all about that. But if you are watching live, you might see things are a little different this week. Unfortunately, I'm back in isolation. It must be Christmas time. Tested positive today, but luckily feeling okay, feeling pretty good. So still able to record and talk all about NXT, which is obviously our favorite thing in the world to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is already a great show because the internet is so off that you finish talking there, and I'm like, his mouth is still moving on the Zoom call. So we're off to a great start, but we'll somehow survive on this. Yeah, hoping you're okay. I tested positive. I'm going to get the hell out of here as soon as I can after recording, but we're in separate rooms. It's okay. You were wearing a mask, and we're being safe and all that stuff. So happy that you're you're okay and everything like that so far. So but yeah, we're roommates, but we're in separate rooms recording this right now. We watched NXT separately. I made some dinner and then fed you. It was like dinner service, room service at your door.
It was lovely as well. Yeah, some steak, some sausages, some vegetables, some Guy Fieri's Kansas style smoky and sweet sauce barbecue.
Flavortown, baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If I knew you were like, I had bought all this stuff to make food already. If I knew you were like not feeling too good, I probably would have gotten like ramen or pho or something like that. But tea, have lots of tea.
You know what was interesting? My symptoms are pretty mild. I feel a little fatigued, a few muscle aches, and a little cough, but nothing crazy. But what was interesting is none of the remedies were making me feel any better. Like I take some cold and flu tablets, which normally kind of get you through a few hours, and have some hot fluids and ramen or whatever, and you feel good, but none of it seemed to change it at all. So I don't know, as much as we love ramen here in the BDE, I don't think it would have made much difference. So it was all about the protein, getting that strength up tonight with some steaks.
Well, we do have lots to talk about. We do have. I'm having water now because that steak definitely. I don't know how I'm awake right now after eating that, but I'm excited for what happened on NXT and definitely to talk about it. But I was also excited this week because we did our first ever Poisonrana podcast, like our new flagship show, our new weekly show over on our own feed. So go follow that feed. Poisonrana is the name of it. Go check it out. And we did a whole show talking about all the hot topics in wrestling. And so far the the audience has given us some positive reactions. So shout out everyone who's been shouting out us this past week. Go check that show out if you haven't already.
Yeah, really happy with how the first episode went, and I think we've got some things in mind, some things we want to add or maybe change a little along the way, but so far the response has been really positive. So go to youtube.com/Poisonrana or sign up to Poisonrana wherever you find your podcast to give us a go, because I had a lot of fun. I know we're going to have a lot to talk about this week with all this latest Wall Street Journal Vince McMahon news coming out, and then the Vince McMahon Vice documentary is airing as we speak. So already we're going to have all that to talk about, as well as AEW Winter is coming. So join us at 4 p.m. this Sunday on youtube.com/Poisonrana for our latest flagship show.
Yeah, we'll just be talking about everything that's going on, including Dynamite, and Winter is coming as well, which is tomorrow night, which I'm super excited to talk about and all that stuff. And last plug, go to Poisonrana.CA for all the stuff. But Patreon is where we also have a ton of other shows, including some very Christmas-inspired stuff, including this weekend. We are recording a show with John Pollock, and that show is a special review from the Six, where we will chat all about, well, a different city, New York, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. We're super excited. We're going to be recording this on Sunday, and I think I don't even think I told Pollock this yet, which I guess we should. We're going to invite all the patrons to join in on the Zoom chat to basically watch us record this live and chat and give us some, live inspiration for the podcast. So yeah, we're super excited about that, and I know he loves that movie more than the original Home Alone, so we'll find out why.
Yeah, this is one we're definitely looking forward to having people come along and chat with us. I'm sure many of you have seen this film. A lot of you have probably already seen it this year, so come, if you're a patron, come along as we chat all about what is it, the second one? That's the Sticky Bandits or the Wet Bandits, this one?
Sticky Bandits. The Wet Bandits is the first one.
Wet Bandits in the first. Sticky this time. They're sticky. It's a sequel, so you know what you do. You go to New York.
Yeah. I can't wait till movies. I mean, Toronto's starting to get some love now, but like one day there'll be sequels of movies where it takes place in Toronto. That's a world I want to live in.
The day aliens invade Toronto in a film is the day we know we've made it, right?
Or in real life. Yeah. Exactly. We also have a top 5 show talking all about the different festive moments in the world of pro wrestling. So lots of Miracle on 34th Street fights.
Santa Claus,
Santa Claus getting Stone Cold Stunnered a bunch of times. Any wrestler versus Santa. We're going to talk all about different holiday moments in the world of pro wrestling. And then we
were basically just looking for any excuse to rewatch Santa Sandow against Santa Mark Henry, right? That's the only reason why we're doing this show.
Speak for yourself. I was watching Sylvan Santa versus Batista in 2006.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was looking most forward to. Or who could forget such classics as Kurt Angle versus Santa Claus in 2004. Man, they really did a lot of just wrestlers versus Santa Claus.
Santa, yeah.
Also,
it's easy heel heat, isn't it?
Yeah, like when Del Rio hit Santa with this car. We'll get into that. We also did another movie review, a movie I've never heard about, but we recorded this today. Rare Exports.
Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale, 2010 Finnish film about the real Santa Claus. Very kind of dark, dry comedy horror as we go into some Finnish Christmas folklore.
Yeah, so go check out all that stuff. $5 a month, you get access to everything this week that we mentioned, but then everything coming out the week after that, and including Best Match Ever, which is coming soon. So go check out all the stuff we got going on our Patreon. Retro NXT reviews, all that fun stuff. Right as NXT was starting tonight, actually, our fire alarm in our building went off. Like, not like our smoke detector, like our actual fire alarm. So I was puzzled, first of all, because you weren't in the kitchen, so it couldn't have been you. So right away, the blame was off you because you are a notorious kitchen fire starter.
I'm a fire starter. Kitchen fire starter.
You are. But then, like, it was legit. Like, we had our PA thing come on in even all the units in the halls, and it sounded like there was a little fire on the 9th floor. So we were high above that. So I was watching the first maybe 10, 15 minutes of NXT with just loud sirens going off.
Basically, it's a miracle. It's a miracle on 34th Street that this show is going ahead tonight with the COVID, with trying to. We've had some internet issues. I'm trying desperately to stream to the post YouTube, which is all very new to me. And then someone tries to burn the building down. And you know what would really help is when we have these fire alarms and we have the person on the tannoy system telling us whether we should be staying put or evacuate. It would be really helpful if the person could, speak clearly into the microphone so we actually understand what he's saying. Because every time this announcement happened, we come and we're like, all right, should we leave? I really didn't understand what he said there. That would be quite helpful.
There's a fire. Run. Stay where you are. There is nothing to be. Run for your lives. That's
exactly.
What it basically said. Wait, what do we do? Okay, I'll just cook my steak and watch NXT. That's what I'll do instead. So yeah. We survived and we're here somehow, some way. But yeah, so let's talk about some NXT. It's the hangover of Deadline. That's what we're calling this one, really. The Deadline Hangover Show.
NXT, December 13th, 2022, live from the Capitol Wrestling Center in Orlando, Florida. And we start with the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge winner, Roxanne Perez. She comes out. She's the new number 1 contender. And she thanks everyone for helping her, supporting her and making this happen. When we hear some horns from outside, we cut to the parking lot and we see a Hummer show up. This big truck honking away. And it's Grayson Waller. And Braden, I know last week you criticized on the Grayson Waller effect how Grayson's shirt just wasn't really up to par this week. Well, I thought he came back with a bang this week, sporting a very nice shirt as he's entering the CWC.
It was a very nice shirt. I mean, he's off a very hot win. I may not be the biggest Grayson Waller fan. I am a big fan of his shirts, but I was a bigger fan of when he did the shoey after winning his match at Deadline. So, I mean, he needs to get on the merch. They have a new shirt and it just says like Grayson Waller, or it's his face or something. He needs to get on the merch and get the shoey on there pretty quickly, or have one of his proper button-up shirts that he always wears, but with just shoes all over it.
A shoey shirt.
That's something. A shoey shirt. Yeah,
I'd be up for that. Well. He says to give me the mic and the show doesn't start until I say it starts. So he comes into the arena, he's mouthing off and Roxanne tells him to shut up. And she says, I don't know if you know this, but I won too. And I actually did it before you and did it from the number 1 spot. Well, Grayson starts mocking her, calling her Booker T's favorite wrestler. And the reason why you were first is so you could get to bed in time. And I was hanging out with the biggest reality stars doing shoey after shoey after shoey. And you're right, it was one of the biggest wins of my career. And it was the biggest win of your career. But that's sad, because that just means you peaked at 21. Because you're never beating Mandy Rose. And this is where Bron Breakker, the NXT champion, comes out and calls Roxanne the Iron Woman in NXT and says she went the full 25 and outlasted some of the best in NXT, and we don't give a damn about what you think because Roxanne is the future NXT champion. Waller then calls him Bronathan, which I quite liked, asks how his jaw is following his attack on Saturday, and says it doesn't matter about the minutes, it's about falls, and I picked up 2 falls in the first 20 seconds. And I will therefore outsmart you and take the championship. They're all about making memories here in NXT, while I'm about making moments. And then Bron starts chasing Waller off through the arena, where from behind, Mandy Rose attacks Roxanne, attacking the shoulder, as we end this kind of opening segment here.
Yeah, pretty different that you have like the men who, like interrupting the women, kind of being like, "Yo, I don't care about you. I won the match."
Yeah.
But then Braun coming to the defense of Roxanne, which is like then can weave in the storyline. So I actually kind of really like that they do that, and they kind of should do that maybe more often. But I liked how Waller definitely like doing that. Waller got like even more heat just for kind of stomping on her parade, being like, yeah, but I did this, I did it better, and that kind of thing.
It's an effective
Braun,
way of setting up two programs in like a limited amount of time, you know. And I did like the interruption with Waller coming out in the truck. I think he's very good at being like an aggravating prick, you know. And well, we go backstage where JD McDonough is being evaluated by the docs. And, well, as we know, McDonough kind of knows all about the anatomy. And he basically gives his whole medical update without even needing the doctor to say it. He's like, okay, so let me guess. I've got a bit of head trauma, but not concussion. I've got a slight abrasion here, etc., etc. But I should be cleared to compete as tolerated. And then he looks over and says, that must be Julius Creed checking into the medical again. Creed, just like last week, reiterates that he's fine and that he was good to go at deadline, but says you had to do that stupid thing to my knee and now medical won't leave me alone. And Brutus issues a challenge, says you tried to hurt my brother, well, I'm going to hurt you. And that sets up a match between JD McDonough and Brutus Creed for later this evening.
Yeah, I liked the promo. I just had like, this is nitpicking, but why did they decide to air it right in between that opening segment and then this next segment, which then just means Mandy was just standing there the whole time? So like to just say the segment was fine, and this weirdo that loves pain and knows all the body parts, like calling out the Creeds for being in this, like, you know, checkup spot, being like, oh, I know you're hurt because of this like it's cool that that's added to his American Psycho character. But why did they randomly air this and then just go back to the ring when they're just waiting there? Like, what?
I didn't mind. I thought, because I got the vibe from Mandy, you know, from like the ROH show over the weekend after Dax got beaten up, and then I thought it was actually pretty badass. Dax lied out in the ring with the mic just by his head, and he's issuing the challenge to the Guns. I think that's what they were trying to kind of get with Roxanne here, because she's been beaten up. She would be still laid out in the ring, and she's like, no, we're going to do this tonight. But as you put, why was Mandy still there? Mandy shouldn't have been still stood around, and it was a little thing like, was this meant to happen right away and they cut to this clip beforehand? I don't know, but I did like JD kind of going through his whole medical stuff, and like he doesn't even need a doctor, he knows what's wrong.
Because I like that, but then I also liked this next part with Roxanne.
So yes, Roxanne's in the ring. We cut back to the ring. She's getting up from her attack, and she calls out Mandy. She goes, Mandy, you think you're the biggest, baddest bitch in the game? Well, I don't want to wait until New Year's Evil. Put your title on the line tonight. Well, Mandy accepts, clearly thinking that maybe the injury would save her tonight. But yeah, Mandy accepts, and we've got our main event set for the evening. Mandy Rose defending against Roxanne Perez.
She's not going to wait for New Year's Evil, as they call on commentary. Yeah, I like this whole segment. I just, like, again, I feel like I'm just nitpicking, but it would have just made sense if it was one complete segment where she went, no, where do you think you're going? You want to fight me? Well, fight me right now, tonight. Let's go. Which she pretty much said anyways after. But I liked the fact that they didn't just make Roxanne be the bubbly one who got interrupted by Waller. Instead, she stood up for herself, which is the story like going on into the match. And
I think it almost it kind of makes sense following the Waller thing. Like Waller saying Waller was almost goading her into doing this as well. Like, cool, you won the Iron Survivor, but that's it. She's like, well, I'm going to show everyone up tonight. We then cut backstage where Wes Lee and Stax are fighting. This was a very, like, with these kind of the few opening segments here, this was pretty non-stop and pretty chaotic, the whole kind of first 20 minutes of this show. So we see Wes and Stax fighting backstage. They brawl out to the ring, and that sets up our match. First match of the evening, Wes Lee taking on Stax. And Wes comes at him with this huge tope con hilo where he almost missed. He just hit his back on the floor here. Looked
like
pretty nasty.
Back, like he just made it where he didn't just like fully hit just the ground, but wow.
Yeah. After the break, Stax is in control and applies this deep single-legged Boston Crab as Wes Lee is kind of kicking at the face to break free. Wes then comes back with his nice kind of combination body shots like the palm strikes and the kicks, followed by a beautiful looking German suplex, and then his like handspring flipping Pele kick to the top of the head to put Stax away. 1, 2, 3. Pretty quick match, just showcase for Wes Lee really. But I do think Stax is showing a lot of improvement and didn't look out of place here against Wes, I thought.
Yeah, I always, even though the guy is gone, I still put down 2 dimes. So I clearly have not gotten over that. Even though that guy doesn't even call himself 2 dimes. He's Cole Carter now. But yeah, Wes pretty much just getting the showcase here. But Stax does have some wrestling. They definitely tried to tell that story with Tony D and the stuff, especially the Nakamura stuff. But he was putting in like an STF that looked pretty good. I'm like, I feel like the wrestling is there with this kid. But this was pretty quick.
After the match, Dijak comes out and is stood on the ramp, but with the distraction, Tony D'Angelo attacks Wes from behind. So both gunning for that North American title match. I assume we're getting a triple threat some point down the line.
Yeah, I hope we maybe that's the New Year's Evil show. I would imagine the triple threat for the North American.
That would make sense. That's what? January 10th. So what, 3 weeks away? 4 weeks away? Something like that?
Yeah, a week actually after
New Year's.
So I don't know why that's the date, but yeah.
We go backstage and Andre Chase asks Duke Hudson, what the fuck was that handshake with Drew Gulak? And he goes, are you entering the transfer pool? Are you trying to get a transfer out of Chase U? And Duke Hudson's like, absolutely not. I'm learning everything from Chase U, and I've still got a lot to learn. Andre Chase admits that last week he was wrong putting Thea Hale in the match against Isla Dawn, and Duke jokes that, well, maybe you've got some things to learn in Chase U too. And tonight he's going to give Damon Kemp a Chase U size ass whooping.
Yeah, I'm loving the ridiculousness of Duke Hudson, and I know everyone's invested in Sami Zayn and the Bloodline, but we got Duke Hudson in Chase University storyline going on. Real ones know this is not as good, but it's almost as good.
It's pretty fun, and now you've got I love the whole thing. Like, what you're transferring schools, Duke? You're transferring from our make believe school to Drew Gulak school that hasn't even set up yet.
What other Gulak? Too bad Thatcher's gone, because we would have had his like training, his school, the fight pits, and all that stuff. But like Gulak doesn't have his gym yet. We have the Diamond Dojo. Like Duke could go there.
We do have the Diamond Dojo, but
like Duke has shifted around jobs back and forth. He could try hairdressing over at the barbershop with Trick and Mello. He could what else? Oh, he could be like a warlock with
Isla Dawn.
Which you see, like there's different. Like,
he could be a crow,
different programs
as well. Yeah, he needs to
crow?
talk a crow like Valkyria.
The bird lady.
The bird lady. He needs to talk to Kiana James and maybe try and get that bar that
business.
He can turn into a training school, perhaps.
He could just get into business with Kiana James and I feel like this guy, he's doing all right. Like so far, it seems genuine that, like, unlike the Sami Zayn Bloodline thing, is you want Sami to be loved by them, that it makes them the baby face and everything. It's the same thing where Duke though was the bad guy, joining the baby faces, and now he's so far in that we're like, no, he is one of us. That when the eventual like, nah, I'm not, is gonna be like very heartbreaking. And wonderful.
It's you're hoping he's genuine. You're hoping he's changed.
Of course.
But I don't know. Can people change, Braden?
No, absolutely not.
People can change. Women's tag team champions Kayden Carter and Katana Chance come out to join commentary for our next match, which they didn't explicitly state, I don't think, that this was a number one contenders match, but they said this will have huge championship ramifications, which is, I think, WWE verbiage of this is kind of a number one contenders match.
Yeah, we saw them at the pay-per-view where they had the segments with them kind of fighting and brawling, where you knew that this was where it was going. And I mean, it takes a longer route to get there, but we knew where it was going.
So it's Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley from Diamond Mine taking on Gigi Dolan and JC Jane of Toxic Attraction. All four start the match by brawling in the ring. JC hits a rolling senton to the floor, and then Ivy gets launched into the commentary desk, taking out Kayden and Katana. And well, Kayden and Katana are mad about this, so take out Toxic Attraction, which causes the ref to throw the match out, as Tatum Paxley takes everyone out with a plancha to the floor. But this match really didn't get going at all. It was just to set up what's coming a bit later on.
Yeah, they eventually announced that next week is the triple threat between the teams, and exactly
for the title.
For the tag titles. So I mean, this didn't have enough steam. There was a few cool looking kicks, and I like the team of Ivy and Tatum. So I'm sure this three-way match will be pretty good. But I also see the titles not changing hands.
Yes. We see Fallon Henley backstage on the phone, and, well, she's very concerned. She's talking bar business. It seems that, well, we did kind of point this out the other week. There don't seem to be too many patrons at the Fallon Henley bar, and business is down.
Yeah, Briggs and Jensen were the only people in that bar, so...
Yeah, and, well...
Not sure how it's going.
Briggs and Jensen say that they're there for her, they have her back, and that 2023 is going to be their year. But yeah, the Henley parents are having some financial issues right now, so could spell trouble for the bar.
Yeah, it's a shame, but you know, I'm happy that they survived the pandemic and stuff, but it seems, you know, owning an establishment is still pretty difficult. You would figure in Florida, you know, bars are pretty popular.
Be thriving, yeah. I mean, we go to this bar all the time. Look pretty cool. They've got darts. They've got darts, pool, and Fallon. What more would you want?
Yeah, if we got to hang out with Briggs and Jensen every day, we would go to this bar every day. But we don't live in Winter Park, Florida? But I wish I did. But.
Briggs and Jensen definitely seem like characters we'd see at our bar regularly. You know, we go in and be like, who are we going to see today? Oh, it's Briggs. He's going to slap me on the back and buy me a shot.
Briggs, who doesn't know how to talk to people in public.
Yeah.
We'll get too lit too early. And then you got to like babysit and help him get in his
that's Jensen. We're babysitting Jensen.
Sorry, Jensen.
Briggs is the one who's always given us the whiskey, I think.
Yeah, Briggs knows how to handle his whiskey, I'm sure, for sure. But I hope this bar survives.
Well, it's then announced we have a new official theme of NXT, Shredder. I haven't had a chance to listen to this yet, but they played the Wale song at the beginning of the show, didn't they?
I swear that they did, but I swear NXT also has been using different themes for different segments of the show. So I was a little confused at what this was. It didn't even say the artist; it just said NXT theme Shredder, and that it's available on like streaming services or something. So I was like, oh, that's weird. So it must be like in-house. Like a CFO, not CFO, but like whoever they
the new ones, yeah, whoever they are.
Essentially, yeah, it's kind of weird that they would, because I like the Wale Down South one. I thought that's just a sick song, but sure. It reminded, like, the name obviously Shredder reminded me of Ninja Turtles, but it's just another rock song. But okay.
Yeah, we'll see if this comes into effect next week, or if it's just, as you said, sometimes like these pay-per-views have like 3 different themes or whatever. So maybe that's what they're doing.
Like, considering Shawn Michaels is running NXT, you'd figure we'd get like Creed or Alter Bridge or something like that.
RYN in the YouTube chat is saying that Shredder is a banger. So maybe we'll put on some Shredder after this to because I didn't really catch it from this clip whether this is a certified banger or not.
It could be. It only played a few seconds of it, so I'll have to listen back.
We're backstage with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, and Williams is kind of going through Twitter and seeing what the internet is having to say, and he's kind of like pointing out that, well, like people were kind of saying Melo's sort of losing his mojo a bit, that Melo is missing, that Melo's missing. Ooh. And Melo says, look, I don't miss, I still don't miss, I just didn't win. And if it was a 30-minute match, I'd be going to New Year's Evil. It's still me, I'm still the A champion, and Trick then shows the picture of Axiom doing the moonsault out of the penalty box, and he says, look, everyone was amazed by that, and then zooms in on Carmelo Hayes' face and is like, look, even you were amazed. And Melo's got this great shot of just like, whoa, at this moonsault. And Melo tells him to delete that picture and that he's going to go for Axiom next week. And Trick is like, it's on Twitter, it's on the internet, I can't delete it. But yeah, that sounds like an awesome match next week. Axiom and Melo, give it to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Melo and Trick were also looking at photos of Angela Bassett. Is that what they were talking about?
Oh, yeah?
They're like, damn, Angela Bassett. And I concur.
All right.
I concur. Yeah.
We go to our next match. It's Big Lads Wrestling. The incredible wrestler Von Wagner taking on Odyssey Jones. This is kind of Odyssey Jones kind of sticking up for his friends Idris and Malik. They like to go have fun. They like to go party. They tried to cheer up sad Von the other week after his loss, and Von kind of just told them to piss off. So Odyssey stepping in here, taking on Von for a bit of Big Lads Wrestling.
They did piss off. They did, because they went to main event, and they were on some dark matches this week for the main roster.
They were.
And Malik Blade. So shout out those guys. They've been absolutely stepping up. However, you know who didn't show up for the tapings that they were at? The Sweater Vest. So pour one out. He finally upgraded. It looked like from pictures.
Von Wagner ripped it in half, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he still fucking wore one like last week or something. So as long as he's not wearing that going forward, he's good. And they'll be the most successful tag team. They need to face the New Day.
Okay, but like, the Sweater Vest sets him apart, though, no? It's sometimes these things are like goofy, and then it's like, it's his thing, though. It was his dad's.
It's just not.
It was the last thing his dad ever gave him before he died was a Sweater Vest. Yeah.
I love those guys lately, but I'm happy that he's not using the Sweater Vest. But this match is like, these two are big. These two want to fight each other. But since Odyssey Jones has come back and been featured on TV week by week, it reminds me doing this show week by week that I don't know how to spell Odyssey. So thank goodness for spell check, because I just don't know what I don't know. I can't do it. So I was excited for this match.
Double S, two Y's.
S.
Double S.
Two Y's. What do you mean 2 Y's?
Well, a Y in the middle, like a Y instead of an I to start with.
Not helping that.
Odd Y double S C. Yeah.
I'll say OJ, Odyssey Jones. OJ versus VW.
I mean, when you're saying it, you don't need to spell it out loud, do you?
Yeah. Exactly.
Luckily, we're not writing reports on NXT. We're just talking about it. Well, there's a big scoop
for the reports for the. Sorry, I was gonna say leave the reports for the professionals, because John Siino has been writing some bangers over at postwrestling.com lately. So got to give him his flowers there.
And you can hear more from John Siino on Shot in the Dark every Thursday starting this week on the Poison Rana feed, where John Siino will take you through everything in the world of wrestling that you may have missed, including like main event, as you mentioned earlier, AEW Dark, AEW Elevation, all the Impact Wrestling, everything you might have missed. Check out that show. And, well, we go to the match. There's a big scoop slam from Jones. Vic Joseph is reminding us that these are 2 Division 1 football players. So, yeah, big lads. Stone tries to distract at one point, but Jones takes him out and then finishes Von with just a big running splash for, I think, a bit of an upset win here. Odyssey Jones pinning Von Wagner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Von has just like had title matches before. He's been featured in somewhat bigger matches, but he hasn't really been cooking too much here. Like not really moved on from exactly the way he showed up. Yeah, he's got a catchphrase. Too bad it sucks. Saying Von's World is not something that instantly gets you over. Ask Wardlow. He's suffering from the same thing. But Von way less down the card here. Like Odyssey Jones coming back from his injury is looking way better than he did the last time we saw him. So already he's stepped his game up. Whereas Von, like, he's big. Yeah, I do still think deep down there is something in Von, like specifically the wrestling, just because he does look like this pretty bigger dude. But nothing else. He's got nothing else rather than just the same old thing for quite a while now, where like even if you look at someone like, obviously bad comparing to Carmelo Hayes, but like that guy just oozes charisma and stuff, but even that guy's character has like gone through like a lot in the last like year or two, however these 2 characters have been. So it's just like he's still the big bully who goes so like he'll just be doing this on every Tuesday come Tuesday for the rest of eternity, I guess, because losing here, it's like, yeah, that's this feud now is dead and move on from Wagner.
I mean, I think Von is someone that we have seen in certain matches that he can go. I thought his match with Bron Breakker was way better than it should have been. It had any right to be. And then we had like that, it seems like a lifetime ago, but the tag match at the beginning of the year with him and Kyle, like there have been good moments from Von where you can see, oh, this guy can wrestle, but just losing to Odyssey Jones here in like a nothing match, clearly kind of dropping down a bit. I wonder if this is the final like nail in the coffin for Mr. Stone, and this is where he gets rid of him because he kind of caused the distraction. But I'd have liked for this to have had a little longer to see where Odyssey Jones is at, because I still don't really think I've seen enough. I didn't see enough in this match to particularly say he's bad by any means, but I also haven't seen enough to be like, oh, this big guy can go either. So I hope we start seeing him actually get tested a little more moving forwards. We go backstage to our favourite announcer, Mackenzie Mitchell, and she's with Javier Bernal, and she says, look, I'm 99 times out of 100, I'm unbiased doing this job, but I gotta say tonight I'm rooting for Ikemen Jiro when he faces you, because who doesn't love Jiro? And Bernal says, how ironic it is that Jiro is the one, because I am a 1 in 100, and all the big body ballers are my fan base. And Mackenzie says, you are not a baller. Don't call him that. He goes, well, what about because I'm one with the people, how about the big body Bulldogs? Mackenzie goes, what, like the Georgia Bulldogs? No. He goes, well, you can't keep the big body believers from supporting me. And Mackenzie just outright says, look, I hope Ikemen Jiro beats Bernal next tonight. I quite enjoy these every week, these two. And Bernal is becoming someone who, I think the first month he was on this show, we're like, oh yeah, that guy. Whereas I think he's carving out a nice little like comedy routine here, and I think Mackenzie's helping him a great deal with this.
Yeah, I think it's, for me, still Mackenzie doing the heavy lifting a little bit. I think without that, I think he'd still, like, I feel like every time he says something, it's not getting a reaction where it's when she says it still, if that makes sense. But yeah, big body Javi. What is he called? I like the ballers. I think the
big body believers, big body ballers.
Believers. I guess believers makes sense. Yeah.
I just want to shout out, we've got our very first super chat on the YouTube.
Oh.
From Jamie Coe, giving us $4 and just saying, yo, So, yo, right back at ya. Super chats are open, and thank you very much. We appreciate the support.
I gotta say, yo, back then. That's wow, what a super chat! Thank you very much. Wow, our first ever super chat. You know, Way said if we were on the post wrestling feed and we got a super chat, he would give it to us. So make sure you get those super chats in.
We see.
Thanks, Way.
It's our TikTok slot of the week with Nikita Lyons watching on the Iron Survivor match and cheering on Roxanne Perez over Zoe. A lot of these kind of TikToks we've had in the past are like setting up something, but this was more just like there wasn't any fight or anything going on in this one. It was just like, I hope Roxanne wins.
You said the TikTok slot of the week?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because every week there's
a TikTok slot.
Doing the TikTok slot.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which is true. They do a lot more now. I noticed even with Deadline, they were doing like filming and posting videos in between matches and stuff like that. Nikita like giving predictions and stuff like that as well. So they love. Hey, you know what? We have a TikTok. Did I mention this last week? We do have videos on it now. So go follow at Poisonrana.CA. We have 12 people following. So go be lucky number 13 or 15, depending.
Yeah, we're trying. We're both turning into our parents, trying to figure out technology. I'm finding trying this TikTok thing. But if you go back to our very first YouTube streams compared to the ones now, it's night and day. So I believe we'll get there, and we'll be the TikTokers of 2023.
Yeah, send me your TikTok. I don't know, best hacks. Teach me how to do it. Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to TikTok.
It's funny, when I was back home earlier in the year, my mum, who worked at a school, was saying about this fight that broke out, and she's explaining it, and she's like, and someone sent a Snapchat on a TikTok, and I'm like, what is the world coming to? What is the world? Anyway, we go forward to Javier Bernal taking on Ikemen Jiro, and well, Jiro shows off his jacket to Bernal and just gets kicked in the gut. He gets thrown down but kips up right away and hits his jacket punches, where his hands are in the pockets punching away.
It hurts more, yeah.
It hurts more, yeah. Loaded pockets.
Obviously,
There's a big clothesline from Javi, and now Body is all on top of him. There's Body sucks chants, and then there's more jacket punches from Jiro. And they actually did I've not seen this before, but just quite a nice shot, like camera shot from high up. It was like a high angle. Thought it looked quite nice. There was then a Frankensteiner off the corner from Jiro, followed by like a running Shining Wizard for the win. Ikemen Jiro picking up a win with pretty sweet finish, I thought.
Yeah, it's like almost like a running penalty kick, Shining Wizard, but like to the face, essentially. It's almost like an Enziguri or, it was pretty cool. Jiro getting an upset victory as well as Odyssey earlier. Like, this is a kind of shock, I would say, considering Big Body is kind of getting a push with his promos and stuff. So I guess it's more comedy that he lost to the even more comedy character.
Well, I think that's it, isn't it? They're just building up that Javi loses to absolutely everyone. I'm going to make a bold prediction here. By this time next year, I think Big Body Javi is going to be a super over babyface. I'm putting that down right now. That's my big body prediction.
Big body prediction. I'll predict that Jiro and Kushida reform Jacket Time.
All right.
In WWE, who knows?
Well, after the match, Scrypts comes out, attacks Jiro, takes his jacket off, puts it on inside out.
No.
And then hits the Molly go round. Sorry, this dude attacks someone and you hit him with a fucking Molly go round. Booker T had to sell it like the guy fucking hit him with a pile driver, like jumping, leaping. He's like, no, don't do that. And it's like a Molly go round, which is just a flipping seated senton. Okay, right away, laugh out loud
because last week we said, where's Scrypts? Where is he? Where's the poet, vigilante, masked, flipping Cirque du Soleil guy? Where's that guy? And, well, he's back. And he even updated the mask. The mask is different now. It's got longer, like almost like the Rey Mysterio eagle mask thing. It's like got like that, like fang or something. It still looks terrible. It still looks ridiculous.
He was also in shorts this time. I'm pretty sure he was in longer pants with the tassels before, whereas he was
like a jacket
in shorts. But it still
now
looked...
he's wearing Jiro's jacket.
And now he was like, how can I make this all look worse? How about I put a jacket on inside out? Just looks awful. And I guess we didn't know from before whether this guy is a heel or a babyface, and I guess he's a heel attacking Ikemen Jiro. But yeah, this is bad.
It's like gotta be, yeah. It was dead on arrival, and then they clearly altered it, like literally, because the mask is different now. So they clearly went, okay, no. We saw we getting joked on Twitter. We gotta work on this. But then still doesn't look good. It still looks terrible. And then also your big return is to attack Jiro. So it's just also like just so funny that. Oh man, just the visual of him wearing that mask and that outfit just makes me laugh uncontrollably. When he came out, I just went, "Oh yeah, this guy. I guess he's still here." Oh, you're still here.
I kind of think so. Apparently, I'm pretty sure I read that when Reggie was doing all the like 24/7 stuff and things, Vince McMahon was very high up on him. But they obviously feel now that's gone and Triple H is in charge, probably feel like this guy needs some seasoning. Like he's spectacular at all the, Cirque du Soleil stuff, but he needs to actually learn how to wrestle. So rather than maybe putting him in NXT as Reggie, where he's wrestling and maybe kind of showing himself up a little bit, you hide him in a mask. I mean, I'm not condoning the mask at all. The look is fucking terrible. But what I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised if once he gets to a level they kind of like, he's just right back on the main roster called Reggie, no Scrypts character. This doesn't feel like a character that they're like building in NXT to be something on the main roster, whereas a lot of these other characters I think are that. I think it's more, let's just hide him in a mask, teach him how to wrestle, and then Reggie will just show up on Raw one day as Reggie.
Bring back Reggie. Yeah, he could. I mean, the 24/7 title's gone, but he could go back with Dana Brooke, right? There was that storyline.
Yeah.
He could do more flips. It's just so funny, man. Like, this guy's wearing this mask. I think he would have been better. I think he would have got a better reception if that was, like, say that is the case where, you know what, we'll send you back to NXT. You can, like, sharpen up a little bit and we'll figure out something for you to do. If that's the case, why not just make that the storyline? Like, just go, hey, I'm here to, I don't know, wrestle the best or anything other than just, it started off as the Watcher and spray paint and graffiti, and it turned into a poet mask wearing now villain, really, or something. I don't know what it is, but it is so...
It's like Professor Chaos villain, though, isn't it? Like from South Park, like Butters villain.
Look at it. Yeah, just tell me, looking at the mask, look at the picture, look at a picture of him from this episode, or look at the video of this match or whatever. It's like, just look at that mask. Don't tell me that's not funny.
Terrible.
It's so, like, end of the year awards coming up. It's December now. Everyone's going to be talking about, best matches of the year, worst matches, worst wrestler, all that stuff. But, I mean, worst gimmick. Worst gimmick. Yeah, I guess that would count. But also worst attire, worst, like, gear has to be this guy. And they've altered it. Like, and this is the new addition to it. And it still sucks.
Dude, it's like the anti-FTR Briscoe's dog collar match. When everyone thinks they've got their lists of the year all done, and then there's just an absolute classic that comes in right at the end of December. It's the complete reverse of that. It's, Reggie would have been fine for the whole year. He wouldn't have been on any list whatsoever. Nope. And then, boom, there's our worst gimmick, our worst outfit of the year, easily. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah. Like, I can't think of... Like who else comes to mind when you think of like bad gear or even bad gimmick that has popped up this year? Because I think he takes the cake for both of those things. It's just the mask really that does it. It was the mask and jacket combo last time that was hilarious. It's like pieces of a mop that's cut off and then like dangling off the mask. It's just so I hope they sell replica Scrypts masks one day, because we got to get one for the set.
Oh yeah,
someone's got to get one on Etsy or something.
100%. As soon as this is on shop, like, we need this.
I don't want
next to our EO and our La Parka and all that.
The EO and La Parka. I still want Joker Penta, but the list has now changed. Top one priority: the Scrypts Lucha mask is what we need. Because where that I want to see, like, they should let Scrypts go on a little expedition, like go to AAA, go to CMLL, go to Noah, just travel around as Scrypts, and Scrypts will be the most over shit in wrestling. Let's go.
You know what I was thinking? Scrypts. Another like rare thing we've been looking for, because we've been looking for something for our good friend B Detroit, the DX bucket hat. How good would that DX bucket hat look on a Scrypts mask?
You know what you need to do?
Game changing.
I love, ever since watching Triple Mania that one time, where it cut to the crowd with the kid wearing like a lucha mask, but then he's wearing his glasses over the mask. It's my favorite thing. I don't even wear glasses, but I wish I did, so that I could wear lucha masks with the glasses over top. So it's quite a look. But yeah, did we mention that we love Scrypts?
We love Scrypts. We then get a commercial for Vengeance Day, which is taking place in February at the Spectrum Center. I then did a little Google. The Spectrum Center's pretty big. It holds like over 20,000 people. I imagine this will obviously be scaled down for NXT, but it's a big arena, which is we'll see. I think they said go on sale on the 16th on Friday, these tickets. So
yeah, this Friday. Let us know, any listeners who are attending. We would love to hear some feedback from going to the show. I think it's safe to say we'll be doing a show, even though that's quite a ways away.
Yes, yeah, we'll be doing a show. We see Wendy Chu, who has a little video, who says she was relieved seeing Cora not win the Iron Survivor because good things shouldn't happen to bad people. And what Cora did to Wendy took her to a bad place. She says, I know I throw drinks in people's faces, but I only throw drinks at people who deserve it. People who are mean or belittle others. And when I was younger, I was invited to a slumber party and forgot to bring an extra set of clothes. And we kind of see this, must have been like a personal video or something, because this was Wendy, right? Like a young Wendy with her friends or something hanging out.
It's possible, yeah.
So you see kind of like faded in the background, like a young Wendy hanging out with her friends. And she goes, this one girl threw a drink at me and I was embarrassed. I had no change of clothes. I was covered in this drink. And you know that feeling where you want everyone to like you, but instead they're just mocking you? Well, when Cora threw that drink in my face, it took me back to that moment again. And I felt invisible. I felt 2 inches tall, and I never want to feel like that again. Poor Wendy.
Oh man. Okay, so this is her explaining why she was so like visibly upset. Remember, she was crying. It showed the video where she's just bawling. She was losing her mind. She was so upset when she got the drink thrown in her face. So now she's explaining, look, I was so upset because I'm triggered from when I was a little kid and someone threw their drink on me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Cora Wendy saga continues.
Look, I love Wendy, but like, oh man, like this is like it's literally childish because she's talking about getting a drink thrown in her face and making her sad and all this stuff. Now I just want to see this eventually make Wendy into like less of Dreamville Wendy, but like Nightmare Wendy. Like go back to I think we keep saying this every 2 months where it's like, okay, Wendy's gonna unlock the Mei Ying stuff or whatever, but it's just kind of circles with this character, which I think she's great, but I don't know if this character has enough legs to leave NXT.
Yeah, this is wrestling. Like it's meant to be like simulating a sport where you're hurting another person until you can beat them. You know, I don't like my wrestlers being too sensitive. You know what I mean? Like, it's like these wrestlers that just want to have fun. No, you don't want to have fun. You want to win a match. It's like it's not engaging to me. And I'm like you. I think Wendy's great, but this character needs an overhaul. And
so you hate
I'd like to say that at the no, it's not emotion, but it's just like being. Oh, I'm really sad. I just want everyone to like me and have friends. And well, you know, go to social gatherings. Don't be a wrestler.
Get a dog. What did Braun say?
Yeah. Oh well. So, but setting up for Mandy versus Cora down the line. The New Day come out, and am I crazy, or has their I know I say this a lot, but has their theme changed slightly?
I swear you say this about everyone.
I do. But, it didn't sound like the usual. It's a New Day. Yes, it is. It didn't sound like Big E saying that at the beginning, and it just felt a little like deeper. But maybe that's the COVID in my ears. But yeah, it just sounded a little different.
Yeah, you need an ear picker.
Xavier Woods wearing a fantastic button-up shirt with lucha masks all over it, and naturally I've tweeted him trying to find out where to get this from.
That is a great shirt. Fantastic shirt. I knew that you would message him or tweet him.
I do have a T-shirt with lucha masks all over it. Shout out winners. But yeah, I do like a button-up.
Yeah, they're so lucky down in Florida. They all look good in these shirts.
Yeah, good shirt shots in Florida.
It's cold up here now. It's fucking cold in Canada.
Yeah. So there's triple crown chants from this crowd. Sorry, my autocorrect changed it to triple corn, and I was trying to work out what it was. But corn. Triple crown chants from the crowd, and Xavier Woods says that Kofi is the first ever singles and tag team triple crown holders, and Woods saying that Kofi has the most tag reigns ever in WWE at 15, and you just hear Booker going, "It's not true. That's not true.
It's wrong.
It's wrong. I've done research. I'm 16. I'm 16." And Kofi says, as special it is for me, it's also more special for Woods, because 10 years ago, Woods had his very first match in NXT. He was one of the first class of NXT, and his very first match happened to be against Big E. And he said he'd always wanted to come back and be NXT champion one day, and he was mad that he was never able to do that, but now he can be proud as he stands here as NXT Tag Team Champion. And
that's pretty awesome. First of all, to like we do a show called Was Next, and we've been going back through the years of some old NXT. We're currently in 2013, but we started a few years prior to that, and we have watched a lot of Xavier Woods, and we also, both of you and me, watched NXT all those years ago, and he was, I mean, look at him, the Power Ranger guy. His gimmick was the Power Ranger guy, the 90s kid, and like, look how far this guy has come now. That I did think it was proper to give him a little nudge here and give himself some respect. He's
definitely not someone you associate with NXT, even though he was there for quite a while. Like, you think of your Sami Zayns, your Garganos, your Finn Balor's, your Nakamura's. You think of NXT, you remember that run. Sasha, Bayley, Charlotte, etc. Woods isn't one of those people, but has legit become like a main event act with the New Day. So it was pretty cool, him coming back to where he was kind of a bit of a nobody in NXT. So,
and that he's gone beyond like WWE stuff, man.
100%.
Like up, down, down, and all that stuff. Like he's been killing it. One other thing before we continue of this program, this segment, Booker T. Obviously, this has to be some sort of gag where Booker T just absolutely hates the New Day. We noticed it at Deadline. He was over the top, as well as here tonight. As so much to say, when Kofi mentioned the 15-time thing, he said on commentary, like, wrong. I did my research. I'm 16-time. So I just looked up Booker T's championship reigns here.
Yeah,
and I see that he was a 10-time WCW World Tag Team Champion. So that's 10 times in WCW. And then I see he was WCW Tag Team Champion again, but in WWF with Test. And then he was 3 times World Tag Team Champion. And then I think that's it. So where is he getting? That's 16 times, I guess. So he must be right.
I might upset some people here, but I ain't counting WCW Tag Team Championship runs. Come on.
Well, I feel like it's like still counts as World Tag, considering WWF like definitely merged with them, but it is still not WWE. Like Kofi Kingston has 15 different WWE type now.
Yeah,
that's pretty great. I mean, you wouldn't count NXT tag team titles to other things as well. So I would still give him that. But Kofi Kingston having 15 different title runs is pretty crazy as well. But yeah, Booker T is correct. He has held 16 times. That's crazy, man. However, I know. Was this all just a ploy for New Day to just kind of tease FTR? Because I saw some Twitter interactions after New Day winning that FTR were like, oh man, like we always brag that we were this, and now these guys slide in realizing they could do it too. So Triple Crown, because that's what FTR always brag. It's on their gear and stuff too, right? So
it also gives them something like with Woods being like the double Triple Crown. Like they just lost their record with Usos, so it's kind of like you can have this as well. Kofi did also in his promo kind of mention Booker being salty as well. I wonder, like, do you think could this set up maybe a Rumble spot between Booker and Kofi?
a spot or an actual match?
Well, I don't think we're having a match, but I could totally see Booker being in the Rumble and maybe having a bit of a interaction there. I think Triple H says he wants some NXT involvement in the Rumble again this year. So I don't know. I wonder if that's something, because they've been hitting it quite heavy, and if it feels like as hard as they're going, there's got to be some sort of payoff almost. And I don't think it's going to be, well, Booker would need to have a tag partner anyway if he's doing that. So I see maybe it's Kofi, the Kofi save spot, and Booker pulls him off or something. I don't know. I'm just wondering there. Well, Pretty Deadly then come out and they say to stop this nonsense, this celebration, because you ruined our Christmas and we would never ruin Christmas. Oh, sorry, New Day say we would never ruin Christmas. Look, Santa is here in attendance and we wouldn't do that to him. And we see an old man with a big white beard wearing a Santa hat. And then there's a Santa chant. And the New Day say, look, we know you had a horrible week. First, England get kicked out of the World Cup, so it isn't coming home anytime soon. Oh, thanks for reminding me there, Kofi. That one hurt.
Yeah.
Then you lost to us, and I outworked you. Yeah. Like the cherry on top, and I outworked you.
Yeah. We beat you for the titles. England lost, but the worst thing, I outworked you.
I twerked better than you. No!
Oh, God. How could he? Yeah, I mean, we were raving about that match and how fun it was, but specifically the 4-way Eddie Guerrero tribute spot, which has gotten like huge now on social media. So as rightfully so, yeah, pretty funny.
Pretty Deadly say they want a rematch, and New Day are like, of course, and we're all about that. We made magic in the ring on Saturday. You two are super talented, and I want to know what you have in store in the future. And Pretty Deadly are like, oh, thanks, Kofi. That's really nice. But the New Day have one small thing we need them to do for us. If you want a tag team championship shot, we need you to pledge allegiance. And Pretty Deadly are like, absolutely not. No. When Briggs and Jensen come to the ring, they pledge allegiance to the flag. The whole crowd joins in. And this grants them a title shot next week because they pledged allegiance.
Very proud boys of
yeah, as the Brit here, like I found this very offensive. Like, how dare you hold these tag titles hostage? You've got to pledge allegiance to our country, or you can't have a shot at these world tag team championships. Come on.
True.
If the shoe was on the other foot, I'd wonder.
So you can't pledge allegiance. I can't. I'm Canadian.
I mean,
British and Canadian. We're
pretty
fucked.
deadly. Quite. They just gave New Day the tag team title shot. They didn't say, "I want you to sing God Save the King and wear the England jersey for the rest of the week," or any of that. They were just like, "All right, you're the New Day. You want a tag shot? Go for it." Now they're like, "Nah, you got to pledge to my country."
Wait a second. Y'all already changed the name of God Save the Queen that quick?
Well,
Y'all already are like,
she's dead, Braden.
I mean,
we can't save her anymore. She's dead.
Yeah, I guess you guys didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
That's crazy that it's called that now. Like, can they come out with a James Bond movie, His Majesty's Secret Service?
I guess so, yeah. It's
wow, I didn't even think of that.
possible.
Look, let's flip it here because we both are not American. So I'm sorry, all American listeners, but we could not pledge allegiance. But if you out there, you think you could, if on the spot, you get, you have to do this because I feel like if
Americans know it. They do it at school every day. No,
Americans can do it. I feel like I could do "Oh Canada," which is not the same thing, but like our national anthem essentially. But you could do your own national anthem. You could survive.
I know the main verse and chorus. God Save the King has like a bunch of other verses, but I know verse 1, verse 2. They should have gone. I think they should have done the Killers route, which was just repeat the same verse and chorus over it again. But yeah,
because those like memes where it's like, if you had a gun to your head and you had to, the only way to survive was recite a song you knew all the words to. Like, what song comes to mind that you would think you had a shot?
What, a song I could recite?
Yeah, like front to back, you had to know every lyric of the song.
I have to think. There's loads I know back to back, but there's always that one like little word bit where you're like, I pick Coldplay.
Yeah, well, you're dead if you met. Yeah,
no, I probably do. I probably do my karaoke song in the end, Linkin Park.
Linkin Park.
Because if I die, then in the end it doesn't really matter, does it?
Nice. Yeah.
We go backstage to the women's locker room where Elektra Lopez is doing her makeup. It's pretty much all the supporting women here, lower card people, and she's just bad mouthing Indy Hartwell and says that if Elektra was in the Iron Woman Survivor, she would have won it. Where out of nowhere, Indy boots her in the face, knocking her off the chair, and there's a big brawl, pull apart here. A nice boot here. She kind of came out of nowhere.
I like Elektra Lopez and her like attitude and on-screen presence. It definitely is like I think going forward, I would like to see more of her, and it looks like we are going to see her. And the little things here, I could be wrong, but as there's this whole like scuffle and all these women are pulling each other apart and fighting and stuff, is it Sol Ruka who's like, "Yo guys, chill out." So I'm like, even in backstage fights, she can still remain in character.
Was she doing a handstand as she was doing it as well?
She's walking backwards.
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't get a chance to really talk about it, but while on the subject, have you seen from NXT Level Up? I don't usually watch Level Up, but I mean, they've been posting the video of it with her new finisher, which is like this like jumping backwards cutter thing. It's pretty impressive, actually. You'll see her do it on NXT, I'm sure, like next week. I'm surprised she wasn't on this show doing it, but
yeah, she hasn't really won much yet, has she? So needs to. No, I did see that go around on Twitter. People were like, "Whoa, what do you even call that thing?" So cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I hope they call it the like Wave Rider. Oh no, I think
Surfs
we
Up.
call it Point Break.
Okay.
Yeah, all those things work.
Yeah. We go to our next match. JD McDonough taking on Brutus Creed. There's this nice like second rope bulldog takedown from McDonough, and then charges at Brutus with a forearm to the face, but Brutus just absorbs it and says, "Go on, is that all you got?" So JD comes in again, then starts delivering these chops to the chest. Brutus then catches McDonough and catapults him out of the ring. JD then goes to use a chair, but Sanger and Veer appear and take the chair off of him. If you remember, Sanger and Veer want the Creeds at 100% before they face them, so they haven't been allowing any attacks. JD then hits the Devil Inside on the floor, rolls Brutus into the ring, and hits the Devil Inside in the ring for the 1-2-3.
Oh man, I love that move.
It's great, especially when it's on the floor. It looks so deadly.
Also, like the way that, you know, a lot of people do back suplexes and stuff, so maybe it's like not the most effective, but the way he hits it, and also hitting like a few, because he did the same thing at the Iron Survivor match where he hit them, like a few of them on people. So it's impressive.
It's like the wrist lock lift into it just makes it look so fluid.
So good.
It's very nice.
Gunther has been doing the similar, like the pull into the clothesline kind of move. But yeah, those things look pretty sweet. But this was great. I feel like down the line there is a way bigger match with JD versus Brutus or Julius, because like the wrestling between the two guys. But this was more so kind of felt cut short because of the whole storyline going on, which still is kind of just not that exciting, to be honest. I'd rather we get to the Creeds versus Sanga and Veer and kind of get it over with.
I think they're putting it off until New Year's Evil. I doubt we're getting it before then, which is still quite a few weeks away.
Yeah.
We see Zoe Stark being interviewed, and she's asked about the TikTok from Nikita Lyons, and Zoe's kind of mad. She's like, I don't want to fucking talk about TikTok, all right? I feel ya. She says that Nikita couldn't last 10 minutes with me, let alone 25 minutes in an Iron Survivor match. And then she kind of changes tune, and she's like, you know what? Let's just do it. Get her in the ring with me, and let her do all her TikToks, dances, and everything. I'll bring the real talent.
Damn.
So yeah, that's being set up. Nikita versus Zoe Stark.
Mm-hmm.
We get a very quick video. I have followed the way of the Morrigan, and now I am here. Time to add a new feather to my collection. I am eager to begin my journey in NXT. The rise of Lyra Valkyria is tonight. So she's coming up next.
Yeah, it was kind of weird that they showed this and then said she's next. And then when they came back from break, they decided to play a pretty long promo for the witch. So it was just kind of weird that was like backwards that way, but still.
We went from the Crow Lady to the witch, yeah. All I keep thinking when I see her in these videos walking around, I just think of Catherine O'Hara in Schitt's Creek. She does this film where she's a crow woman and she's got all these crow feathers on her. I keep seeing this like this shoulder thing with the feathers, and I'm just like, oh, you're Moira from Schitt's Creek.
See, to me, she looks this bird lady looks like the bird lady from this Kanye West music video. I know he's canceled now, but the Beautiful Dark Twisted like movie, there's like this bird lady ballerina thing, and it kind of looks like this outfit as well. It looks cool, especially for wrestling, right? But still, that's what I was thinking.
And if you want to hear more about bird ladies, join our Patreon, where we'll be talking all about Home Alone 2 this Sunday, the 18th.
The Queen Bird Lady. We all know
Queen Bird Lady. Bird Lady, or is it Piers Morgan? I don't know. I've never seen the Home Alone 2 Bird Lady and Piers Morgan in the same room at the same time. Just saying.
They do look very similar. Yeah, they do look very similar. Yeah. We need a Bird Lady origin story movie.
100%. Oh, that would be a great prequel. Yeah, just
like Joker, but like Bird Lady.
Bird Lady. We go to this vignette for Isla Dawn. She says, the spirits have summoned an ethereal being, and the longest night of the year is coming. In preparation of the winter solstice, I summon the spirits to give me the strength against these elements. And we see her with... you know those like grinder things you use? You can either use them to
I
like...
know what a grinder is. Oh, yeah. No, not that grinder.
It's like the ones they use in apothecaries, or if you want to make guacamole, one of those kind of things.
This is the guac thing. I'm thinking grinder like how I grind my weed. And I don't know what they call the guac.
Oh, yeah. It's got a name.
man,
I can't.
it's
I
gonna kill
bought
me,
one
but,
recently. I haven't used it yet.
Yeah.
But
she's making like drugs and
she's
like, I don't
making
know
the
what
black
she
mist. She's saying, and when it's in its powder form, it's even more pure, and it's kind of cutting between the curse she did to the referee on Saturday. She says the enchantress will rise in the winter solstice, and Alba Fire will wait for the light to return. So I feel like this Alba Fire story isn't over yet. But yeah, Isla Dawn in full blown hubble bubble toil and trouble witchy mode here.
As much as I usually don't like this kind of stuff, she definitely is believable in this character and in the way she like talks. I have followed her for quite a while in her NXT UK and even before that, and I would see that she kind of, it does seem like she is into this stuff. So I am kind of, when she definitely was mentioning the making of the Black Mist, I liked that because it's like, oh, you're actually like you know about this stuff, you know what you're doing. I'm still like, okay, it's a little too hocus pocus with the ref spitting goo out at the match and stuff like that. Like I think wrestling has a hard time of introducing the character and the weird things in the matches that can definitely turn people off of it, which it did. But I'm like, you're such a good wrestler and you're a good witch, but maybe tone down the witch stuff when it comes to the wrestling. 100% down with mist in the eyes, though. Like, just stick with that.
I will say, though, that's quite new. Like, mist, like poison mist isn't a new thing in wrestling. Obviously, we see, like, Asuka do it today, Malachi
Muda.
Black using it, Muda, obviously. But actually having her kind of creating it, I thought was kind of cool. But I do, especially when the vignette right before was about the Crow Lady, it's a lot. We go to the ring where we see Amari Miller. I feel Amari Miller's one of those people that I go, like, if I knew her as a person, I'd be like, she's so nice, but just really annoying, because she looked way too bubbly here, singing along to her awful entrance song.
Yeah, it went from the Crow Lady to the Witch Lady to the girl who's dancing to like Carly Rae Jepsen ripoff or something like that. I don't know.
Well, she's taking on Lyra Valkyria. We get a big entrance for Lyra here with like these clouds and sort of lightning bolts going off. I thought she looked pretty cool with this entrance. She's got a good look. The joke side about the crow thing, I think she looks great, and the entrance made her feel like a star already in kind of this NXT.
Yeah, I know we were joking about the crow stuff, but like when it comes to like having at least some sort of standing gear that stands out, that it looks pretty cool. There's also smoke and fog and stuff that lingers through her match, which is pretty cool.
So Miller shows off a little bit of a mean streak trying to attack Valkyria, and is actually tugging at her hair. But Lyra quickly comes back with a spin kick to the stomach and an axe kick, kind of like the Kyle O'Reilly combination here, followed by a beautiful-looking Northern Light suplex. Miller hits a senton for a 2 count, and then Valkyria wins with the frog splash, or are we now calling it the crow splash?
Well, how could we forget about frogs at a time like this, Davey? We love frogs here, but. The crow splash, yeah, I kind of was underwhelmed by her finisher. I mean, I felt that way, and then Vic threw to Booker, and I could tell Booker was thinking the same thing, because he was like, that was good. And
yeah.
That's fair, Book. That's fair, Book.
I'm with you. I thought
you
her...
didn't say good.
I thought her strikes looked really nice. I thought the suplex looked nice. I almost feel something like, Devlin suplex would have suited her, but the frog splash, it wasn't a particularly spectacular frog splash, and as you said, everyone does it. So I kind of hope she finds something new there.
Yeah, someone in the chat, shout out South Newton 1, who writes in, shame that Valkyria lost her finisher. She did a better version of the Carmelo Hayes one in NXT UK. So I'm assuming he means, or they mean like the flying scissor kick or something. I assume, because she's got a lot of those kicks. So perhaps
that makes sense. Well, maybe this is we've seen people before in like NXT try out a new finish and does it a couple of weeks and then find something else. Hopefully, this one she can find something that suits her a little better.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving on. we see Axiom backstage. He's in a very nice turtleneck and his mask. And Mackenzie tells him that a lot feel he stole the show and that Carmelo Hayes was actually upset that he flew over him, and reminds him that they'll go on one-on-one next week. And Axiom says, yeah, I'm really, really nervous about that. Mackenzie's like, sorry, what? He goes, nah, just kidding. As great as Carmelo thinks he is not. And Axiom tells Mackenzie to look into his eyes, deep into his eyes. And Mackenzie's trying, but obviously he's got this mask on, so she can't see a thing. He goes, are you looking? And he says that you can see that I don't fear anyone. And after I beat Mello, I'll look just like this, with a huge smile on my face. So, just joking, because you can't see shit under this mask.
Thanks for explaining it, because that's what he did twice. He's like the guy who chats up the girl at the bar and has like an opening one-liner, and it doesn't work the first time. So for good measure, he does it, but uses different words.
Rewords it slightly.
yeah, and tries to redo the bit, and still not quite getting over. I think this dude is a phenomenal wrestler. I still can't get over the character and the mask and stuff. It still comes off pretty silly to me, but again, I am a huge fan of this guy. Like, I know he was A-Kid before, and that match, the segment where Mello and Trick were talking about that moonsault, that match was Axiom's match, man. He was just running house in that match. So I love this guy, but it is still a character that I'm like, all right. But now you're announcing Axiom versus Mello next week, one-on-one. Like, this should be fantastic. We've seen them before, so can't wait to see it again.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I hope that gets time next week, because that should be an absolute show stealer. I kind of hope, I imagine it's Mello versus Bron at Vengeance Day, I would think.
Yeah, I think so.
Stand and Deliver, it could be, but that seems a bit far away. I would hope we get like an Axiom Bron match before that, like another Bron title defense before Vengeance Day, and have Axiom in that slot. Because I think he's fantastic, but I do see it eventually being Mello, the one to kind of dethrone Bron. We're backstage where we see Brooks Jensen, who's like walking around. He's looking pretty happy, but Kiana James approaches him and says, "Why are you walking around like a lost dog?" And he goes, well, you know, Fallon is having bar problems. Parents are having financial issues right now, and I'm just trying to help. And she goes, oh, Gene, come here. And Gene arrives with a present. Sorry?
You mean G?
Sure. With a present, and hands it to him. And it's a really nice, smart shirt. And Jensen's like, wow, this is in my size as well. And she goes, yeah, I've been eyeing you up. I know your size. And, well, if you want to be a champion again, you need to start to dress like a star. And so Kiana's still kind of like knowing that Jensen's going to be the weak link in trying to get this bar from Fallon, because he's smitten. So buttering up here. But then we see behind Jensen and Kiana, an argument going on between Ivy and Tatum with Kaden and Katana. And I actually thought this was a pretty nice shot here, because the camera then like zoomed from Brooks and Kiana to these four when Toxic Attraction run in, and there's a big brawl, there's a pull apart, and I thought we got our first William Regal sighting, but it was just fake Regal, Robbie Brookside pulling them apart.
Bless him. Love me some Robbie Brookside. But yeah, from the right angle, it's William Regal. I love the fact, hey, what's wrong? And he's like, I don't know, my friend's bar isn't doing too well.
Yeah.
Okay. Really? I hope it's doing okay. Yeah, it's just really gotten me down. Oh, but you have a title shot next week because you just did the Pledge the Allegiance thing earlier. Anyways, her giving him a shirt is very nice of her. And I feel like next week he needs to show up looking good, and Briggs is going to be like, yo, what did you get? What's the deal with this? Eventually, is this the evolution of Jensen? I need stuff. Like, eventually he leaves Fallon. He's the reason that bar isn't doing too well, and he helps take it over and joins the Enterprise with Kiana.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that, obviously, right now, you kind of think Kiana's intentions are just to get the bar, and she's using him. I hope she eventually starts to kind of fall for this guy. I see like a bit of a Xander Cordelia from Buffy kind of relationship where it's like, oh, this wasn't meant to happen. But I think, because this lonely single Brooks Jensen thing's been going on for the entire year, there's got to be a payoff eventually. And maybe it is that Kiana or G falls for him in this.
Yeah, maybe he gets a makeover and leaves his Lynyrd Skynyrd shirts behind and starts acting like a true champion. Maybe he wins the title. I don't think they're winning next week, but I am interested in this storyline. I think Kiana James is great.
I do. I think she's fantastic. We go to our next match. It's Duke Hudson taking on Damon Kemp, and there's Kemp with this big club to the back, followed by a neck breaker, and just starts grinding his forearm into the face of Duke here. And this is where we see Drew Gulak comes out and is watching on, and Andre Chase gets in his face, wow, that rhymed, and says Duke Hudson is Chase you, what you doing here, be gone. And Gulak says, I've seen everything I need to see, as he leaves. Duke then does his Chase you Hulk up spot where he's like hulking up and does the you like Hogan, but with the Chase U sign. He then tosses Kemp, does the bionic elbow, and then starts tuning up the band. And then I realized that this is what Duke learns at Chase U. He's just learning the greats. He's studying Dusty. He's studying Hulk. He's studying Shawn Michaels, a big pump kick to the face, the big boot, and takes out Damon Kemp, getting a big W here.
Yeah, so again, kind of another upset here on this episode, because I would assume Kemp would have beaten Duke here, so it's definitely like a backwards day here. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the Duke storyline is pretty fun, and we kind of assume where it eventually leads. But right now we're in the sweet spot of, wow, look at him go, learning all this stuff from Chase and using all these classic wrestling moves and all sorts of stuff. Like, where else do they do promos where they just recite classic wrestling promos and their things as well? Like, what else would you add to this thing? But also
they do their own best match ever every week where they just studying.
Yeah. This was the best, 5 stars. This was 3.5. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. But they kind of do that in their trivia question thing, anyways. Their quizzes. But Damon Kemp, I guess, is just fodder at this point, or was this kind of like the red herring where Gulak says he was watching Duke, but really he was watching Damon Kemp?
I think it's way more likely he's scouting Damon Kemp, and that could also be kind of nice for when if Roddy comes back, you know?
Yeah.
Roddy Gulak,
Sure.
The Roddy Kemp match you would feel happens at some point. But where is he? We're still on Roddy watch.
Yeah, where's Roddy? Is he still in the wheelchair in the hospital?
Because his friends aren't even there anymore at the other place, so he might as well stay here, to be honest.
He might, yeah, like at some point you figure he would want to have gone over, but at this point it's like, no, just stay. You'll be great. I still think that Roddy and the Creeds could have been brought up as a unit on the main roster. Hell, with Ivy as well. But going forward, it looks maybe this is just fantasy booking that if Roddy does come back in still on-screen wrestling position, that you would have him tangle with Gulak, with Kemp, with Charlie Dempsey, Regal Jr., and kind of that whole wrestling camp. Again, that's been Roddy's gimmick, so let's just continue with it. Like, I like wrestling and want a camp of wrestlers.
So next week we've got the triple threat women's tag match with Ivy and Tatum versus Toxic Attraction versus Kaden and Katana. We've got Carmelo Hayes versus Axiom. We've got New Day versus Briggs and Jensen for the NXT Tag Championships, Elektra Lopez versus Indy Hartwell, and Apollo Crews returns. So a couple of big matches next week. Definitely has my interest a bit more than kind of the card this week, I'd say.
Absolutely. Carmelo Hayes and Axiom is going to be definitely must watch. They also aired another January 10th promo for the New Year's Eve ball drop, and it's pretty clear that's Tiffany in the video with them like kind of panning. You see the blonde hair and stuff. So yeah, I would imagine so. So can't wait for Tiffany Stratton to make it happen one more time.
And we go to our main event of the evening for the NXT Women's Championship. Mandy Rose taking on Roxanne Perez. This is where kind of Booker is just kind of gushing over Roxanne Perez and even says she was the first ever ROH Women's Champion. So just when we think we're not going to hear about ROH too much anymore on Wednesdays, we hear it on Tuesday instead.
Ring of Honor, what's that?
Yeah. Also, they're putting over that Mandy is champion for 413 days.
Oh, that's crazy.
So Roxanne's coming in with an injured shoulder following the attack earlier by Mandy, and Mandy's just working away at that shoulder. Roxanne starts to come back, goes for a tilt-a-whirl into a side Russian leg sweep, but Mandy blocks it. Roxy drop kicks her in the stomach and follows up with the uppercut in the corner. And then Mandy just comes back with a big boot to the shoulder. There's a Frankensteiner off the top from Roxy for a 2. And then Mandy goes for Kiss by a Rose, but that's blocked. And then Mandy locks in like the label lock to Roxy, but Roxanne rolls back for a 2 count. And then Mandy hits her with Kiss by a Rose. 1, 2. Roxanne kicks out. And then Mandy goes for the Angel Wings, but Rox counters that into a pin attempt and then hits the Pop Rocks. And new Roxanne Perez pins Mandy Rose and is your NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah, pretty crazy here. Roxanne Perez dethroning Mandy Rose after 413 days as NXT Women's Champion. And obviously Booker on commentary, training her, he's just in tears. He's losing his mind. He's chanting. He's screaming. It was a pretty fantastic moment. And Roxanne, I mean, like the story early on, showing up, being interrupted by Waller, getting beat up by Mandy, and still challenging her tonight, and then coming back here, kicking out of Mandy's so far protected Rose trigger, Kiss by a Rose, kicking out of that, then hitting Pop Rocks and beating her. It was pretty as perfect as you kind of needed it to be, and putting a final end to that toxic reign of Mandy Rose. That I for one am pretty happy that we can finally move on from that and go forward with Roxanne.
Yeah, I kind of felt like this is where we've been going. It was gonna be Roxanne to take Mandy, and as long as this reign's been, I almost felt this was a little sudden. Like just announced at the beginning of the show that this match was happening. The match didn't get too much time. I didn't really feel there was that drama or much of Roxanne from fighting from underneath. I don't know. I felt this should have felt a bigger moment than it was for me. And I think maybe if this got like said 5 more minutes or something like that, having those big near falls at the end, whereas it was just the kick out from the knee and then Pop Rocks. I don't know. It didn't kind of feel as big as it should have for me. But I am pleased that this reign is over and we can move on with Roxanne. I imagine we'll get to Roxanne and Cora one more time for the title, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Mandy show up in the Rumble.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Mandy Rose coming back to NXT was probably really good for her. I know that she's had this title run, but there's not a lot of memorable title matches, defenses that really stand out, because a lot, like, sorry, but comparing back to when, NXT was really hot, with a lot of your main stories and characters were based around all the women. They were the biggest draws of NXT, and putting on like memorable moments and matches. I can't really say the same thing about Mandy Rose's reign. As much as I think she got better, I would still like to see her in WWE. I think showing up in the Rumble, back on, just put Toxic Attraction on the main roster at this point if you're still going to keep them as a unit. But as far as the 413 days, like, yeah, she defended the title and had lots of matches, but a lot of them were pretty much the same thing, and I can't really recall any off the top of my head. And it just felt like she just sat around with her friends in the Toxic Lounge for a lot of this thing. So, like I said, I'm not knocking Mandy Rose because she definitely has hustled and come a long way from before. So still want to see that go forward, and maybe Toxic Attraction as a unit on the main roster will work even better. But I'm just more happy. I agree. The moment it felt like, wait, why are we doing this right now? Aren't we doing this in like 2 weeks or the special Tuesday night? But the fact that it finally ripped that Band-Aid off really quickly, I guess that's the way to do it. And now going forward, like, you can have so many different options and way more interesting storylines with the women's championship. Obviously, Cora Jade Roxanne is where you think they would go probably at Vengeance Day, like, one more time. But hell, bring back Miko. Where's Miko? Bring her back to Miko Satomura versus Roxanne. Run that back. There's so.
Well, Mako has a win over her as well, right?
Exactly. So you could have that, another story there. But yeah, I'm just happy that Roxanne, who I think is very impressive in the ring and super young. Did they say she's 21?
21, yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. She's old enough to celebrate tonight winning her NXT Women's Championship. So pop rocks.
Yeah. Well, that was NXT this week. Not a bad show. I wouldn't say any like memorable matches this week, but I think there was a lot of kind of movement pushing some stories forward. I'm definitely way more excited about what they've got in store for next week.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there was some good stuff and there was some not so good stuff, but they're definitely, like, they had a really good show on Saturday with Deadline. So coming off that, like, at least they did some things on this show that definitely have my interest going forward, and I think they needed to do that, and I'm happy that they did. So I mean, like, going forward, you got Roxanne being the new women's champ, you got possibly a triple threat for the North American Championship, Braun and Waller, clearly the New Year's Evil match as well. So there's some good things going on. I'm into it.
I can't seem to get the feedback open here, so if you want to maybe go ahead with that. Every week we post the feedback on the Poisonrana group. I had to stop myself there. But yeah, if you go ahead.
Yeah, find us on Facebook, Poisonrana. There is a Facebook group that you will eventually find and lead you to, and we post up there. We go to Fire Frank, who writes in, Shoey after Shoey after Shoey after Shoey after Shoey. Shout out Roxanne ending the streak and pour one out for Mandy's reign. And then he posts the emoji of the Scrypts. Writing emoji, if that makes sense. Shoeys. I still have never done a shoey.
I think I'm good. I think I'm all right.
One day. I can't think of any other big Australian wrestlers. Like, Grayson Waller isn't necessarily one I would want to do a shoey for if he won like the title or something. But if you heard it here first, if Grayson Waller wins the NXT Championship from Braun Breaker, I will do a shoey.
All right. Okay. Maybe that's happening. Is that it for feedback this week?
Oh, no. There's lots. We go to Corey, who also writes in, saw Mandy's reign ended. Finally. Wonder if it's because of her OnlyFans and because she got caught selling pretty damn explicit stuff on the side, because this was a very quick title change otherwise. I saw people discussing the fact that she was, like, she does this even though she is with WWE. She does not have an OnlyFans. She runs her own website, but I don't necessarily see the relation kind of to that, but okay. Corey continues saying, wasn't this almost exactly the way Shayna lost hers in a less than 20-minute match against Rhea on the last live NXT of the year? It's more likely that Mandy and Toxic are being called up to the main roster. They've done all they can do. I agree. We go to Megan, who writes in, I know he's been waiting.
He's
for
celebrating.
This day. Megan writes in a lot. We love Megan. He writes, simply put, the writing's been on the wall after Deadline. I was content waiting for New Year's Evil to see Mandy's 416-day run come to an end, and except it came early. Roxanne Perez capped off what is quite possibly the best rookie year of anyone in NXT by winning the NXT Women's title roughly a year later after becoming Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Timing aside, it was the right call. The evil is defeated. We love to see it. Booker T must be a proud papa right now. Magn's celebrating. He always writes in about Mandy's reign of terror, so I'm sure he's excited. We go to, who else here? Let's see. Dylan. We have a lot here. Dylan writes in, the reign of terror is over. Hats off to Roxanne. She deserves it. Axiom versus Mello next week. Take my money. Also loved Axiom showing a bit of personality in his interview tonight. Loving Duke Hudson and Chase U. Good, stupid fun. Not sure if I'm hoping it turns heel or if I'm hoping he's genuine. Either way, was enjoying the ride. Papa Sean needs to get some new designs for the titles that don't have multicolored vomit on them ASAP. They still do have the color splash on them, but yeah, I agree with all those points. I think we're just enjoying the ride of Duke Hudson with Chase U. But we do have one more.
I've got it loaded up now, so
okay,
I can take Dave's. Dave says, first time in a long time, tuning in live.
Hey. Whoa, we haven't done that in a long time.
First time in a long time. And it's all thanks to WWE being on one of the biggest streaming platforms in Australia now. We also get the pay-per-views for free. Good little show off the back of Deadline. Roxanne winning is the biggest relief, but I guess the main roster is going to be jacked with another heel stable. Was it a fever dream? But did Sonya have some involvement with Toxic Attraction that went nowhere? Also, love the new podcast. It's the perfect Monday listen. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Yes, actually, that's what we were aiming for. So some people got something to listen to on Mondays. That was legit why we kind of picked to do it. So, hey, thank you, Dave. But thanks to everyone writing in there in the feedback. Join that Poison Rana Facebook page, the Facebook group. Follow us on all the socials and all that stuff. We always love interacting with all you people out there.
Yes, I want to do one final plug for the Facebook group and for our Patreon because we have just put out our list for Best Match Ever 2022. So polling is now open. There's a whole load of matches there to choose from, and I want you to send me your top 10 in order from that list. I'm sorry, if you really liked a match that isn't on the list, you can put it as an honorable mention, but it doesn't count in the polling. So go to the Poison Rana group and cast your votes. And unless something spectacular happens that Winter is coming or in the next couple of weeks, where we might make an amendment, that is the list moving forward. So it's always a great time of year to kind of reflect and look at all the fantastic wrestling that's happened.
On way for a best of worst of show in the coming weeks. Definitely check out Post Wrestling for updates on that, but we will be joining them. But we'll also be doing a best match ever part 1 and part 2 where we get a lot of our patrons and you listeners to help vote and create a list, and then we go through all the matches, review them, chat about them, review, rate, and then pick our matches of the year, which is all a whole bunch of fun. So can't wait for that. So get your picks in, because I have the list. I was thinking about starting tonight watching some of these ones back, because there's a lot. Like, match of the year could easily be, Okada Ospreay, but it could also be Sami Zayn, Johnny Knoxville. There's different ways you can go.
How do you split those two apart? Right? Yeah.
It's really tough. So. Guys, thanks so much for listening to us talk about NXT, our own feed. Go check it out. This week on the free feed, I'm going to be doing a show all about nothing with Jordan Goodman from The Wellness Policy. It's just me and him talking about nothing, but I'm going to give it to you guys for free this Thursday on the Poison Rana feed as well. So go check out that on the Detox. But $5 a month, patreon.com, access to almost 500 shows, retro wrestling pay-per-view reviews, movie reviews, all that fun stuff, and Home Alone 2 with John Pollock this weekend. It's going to be a whole lot of fun stuff. But as always, check out the socials and all that stuff. Thanks to anyone who followed the new Instagram and the new TikTok and Poison Rana Pod on all of those. But thank you guys. That's it. That's all. I think we can get out of here now.
We can, yes.
How you feel?
I'm all right. I'm okay. Right. I could do this all day.
Surviving the vid.
Yeah.
I could do this all day. Thank you, guys. I myself, Braden Herrington. You can find me Twitter, Instagram, hell, even TikTok at the Brady.
And you can find me at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Take care.
No.
I did one. I'm fine.
No.
I swear I did one. I'm fine. The line was faint. No, I'm joking. That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. And be safe.
Ahoy!
Poisonrana.
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.